I'm not going to waste another rage. I'll just try to hit.
Okay. Alright, so that first one will hit for 16 damage. The second one will miss.
Yep.
Alright, Yasana's up.
Yasana obviously is just going to get some flanking here.
Yep.
And
If only the bunny knew about Shiki.
I'm just going to have her continuously attack.
Yep, that's fair.
Well, she got a crit.
So that's a miss, and a super crit. So Yasana just kind of dances, goes around the dancer, just swings first the dancer, kind of just dodges to the side, and the dancer just kind of does a handstand to avoid the third one. And then Yasana just does a full sweep across, cleaving the dancer right through, like right into her side, and she will take 29 damage. She is not looking too good right now. She is not looking too good at all right now.
Oh, bless her.
Shiki then will be up.
Right, well, because I well, I ain't gonna miss, they say, but just in case, I've still got 2 grit left to use, because I got one back from a pal. Actually, no, I'm full grit again.
So just took one out.
Yeah, get one from the bunny.
So advantage, advantage, advantage.
First one downs her.
All right then.
Yeah, the first shot hits downs the dancer as well. She hits the ground. And once again, at this fight, which kind of went a little bit surprising, none of the crowd was expecting to see like the gunplay back and forth, and they are kind of cheering rather surprisingly, or rather loudly, as at this point, your team is now like the team to win. You kind of hear some cheers going around, like Team Animal, despite the fact that none of you are particularly happy with that name, but none of you had the name to come up with, so it's your own fault.
Well, we were going to take some time and figure one out, but they just decided to name us anyways.
They didn't have time.
I love this. I love the smell of gunpowder in the morning.
To be fair, they gave us like 20 seconds.
They did give you some time, and you just didn't have a name, so they just gave you a name to write down and record. Around this point, you see various clerics and whatnot rushing out to get everyone back on their feet, healed up, pulling the paladin off the thing there, getting everyone back on their feet. They're all a little shaky still, but they're all alive, and the trick archer as well seems like he seems disappointed, but he still has a faint grin on his face, because it was... They tried, and they were just outmatched. You can see that very plainly.
Ugh, that was a nasty trick at the start.
And yeah, you saw over there, Yasana, you can all see that the bunny, she gets up, she's carefully taking a look at her revolvers, reloading them, cleaning them off.
Caca!
And she'll just look up at Shiki as Shiki comes close, and she'll just nod at her. Looks like your guns are definitely better than these.
Custom made, my friend. Custom made.
So are these. And she just kind of laughs and shows you they're both smaller as far as pistols go. Like you as far as like these are Big B being an actual revolver, these are obviously mini revolvers, and they're actually from the glance of it, they're 3 chambers each.
Big B's a hand cannon.
Yes, but Big B is also a revolver. But yeah, these also are only 3 chambers each, so you almost get the feeling that turn she spent doing nothing, she was just completely reloading both of them.
I say, looks like you haven't really learned how to reload that fast yet.
It takes both of my hands to load both guns.
That's why you don't duel with guns. How do you aim properly?
I don't know. I hit almost every target.
I think I still got a bullet still in me actually. That hurts.
And she just kind of grins at that idea. Anyway, we should probably get going back. Oh, who are we going to be facing in the loser bracket now?
I don't know. I don't remember the brackets.
I don't remember the brackets myself.
Yeah. Just for a quick glance at the bracket then, since I'm moving things around. So they have moved up to here.
So we won the whole winners bracket.
Yes, you've won the entirety of the winners bracket thus far, and that's the other reason why you are the popular vote to win right now.
Whoa.
Woo! Now we just got to see who wins the next one.
Yep. All right, you're all kind of welcomed out to go out and take a little bit of a break. You do know that instead of just 2 fights today, there's actually going to be two more fights today, so that they can get caught up. And actually, they'd have to go through a lot of fights in order to get the losers brackets caught up. So you actually have like a day or two off.
Oh boy, time off.
Oh, what? Well, does anyone actually need to do anything?
Oh.
Or is there anything happening in town while we're waiting?
There's the Inquisitor.
I'm waiting on a gun. I can't really do much. Well, I haven't got anything. I haven't got really. Actually, I do need to make rifle bullets. So I got time to make some of that for a day.
Jade also
Okay.
kind of wanted to pick up tinkering at some point, learn how to enhance her crossbow.
In that case, come with me. You help me make bullets.
Would that help her anything with crossbows?
Nope.
It wouldn't help you anything with crossbows, but tinkering in itself would.
Would it help me begin to get proficiency in tinkering?
It would start you learning how to tinker, yes.
All right. So Jade will be fine with that.
In that case, I'm going to spend, as I say, I don't think it took us that long to get through that match, did it, that day?
No, it's probably about noon.
It's noon. I would say I might spend about 4 hours making rifle bullets.
Alright. Roll a tinkering check.
I will.
Do you want me to do one as well? Because I'm
I
helping.
would say you roll one as well, so it would be for you just a flat dex check.
Just give me a sec. Before I go out and actually spend money on more resources, I think.
I'm going to try getting a hold of Risu again.
Let's see, I've got scrap metal, so I can make.
I probably would also.
So what I would do is I would lend you some of the scrap metal, so it would save us down on costs, and also just in case your balls up making the bullets. To be fair, you got a good roll, so.
I would probably also spend an extra couple hours after the training.
Oh, I am using my sleeping bag.
Take that, you master tinker! I did better than you.
Wow.
I'm at this point going to say that Risu is a lost cause for today, and effectively at this point, I'm not sure if I'm going to have any more fighting today, because I think by the time we might get to the next fight, I don't know, we'll play it by ear.
Okay, I used my sleeping bag.
Alright, yep, so,
Ouch.
Shiki spends so much time looking over Jade's shoulder to make sure that she's doing it good that she almost messes up a bit of the work herself, though is able to pretty quickly recover from that and get the number of the bullets made properly. Jade, it's much more slow going for you as you're not really familiar with this process yet, though thankfully making bullets isn't that terribly complicated. Just having to make sure you get the right amount of gunpowder in, and seal it up properly.
I'm using some of the scrap metal we had because I got 10 scrap metal.
Yeah.
What?
So I'm gonna say you'll probably be able to make between the two of you. I'm gonna say
I'm going to be spending 6 hours, 2 hours after Shiki leaves, so that'll be 10 hours total between the two of us.
10 hours total between the two of you. I'm gonna say probably 70 bullets is pretty accurate, and I'm gonna say maybe let's say 10 gold worth of gunpowder.
10 gold worth of gunpowder. What about scrap metal? How much? Because
I'm gonna say you're probably gonna use up 2 of the scrap metal.
all right then.
Because I'm gonna say they're pretty substantial scrap metal, and you're able to smelt them together and make them pour into actual proper bullets. This isn't a shotgun. You can't just load a bunch of nails into a shell and expect it to work.
I've done.
You can actually load a bunch of nails into a
I
shotgun
know.
shell and expect it to fire.
Yep, it's great.
Yeah.
It hurts.
So, when are you going to make a shotgun so I can do that? That should be an easy
I've got
check.
a shotgun.
She does have a shotgun.
I have a shotgun. Literally, by the end of this, it's gonna be pistol. It's gonna be a revolver in a holster, rifle on the back, shotgun on the back.
Just going to be Shepherd with your 7 guns on you.
No, all I need now is a duster.
That's all she needs at this point, yes. Alright, so you're going to spend the remainder of the day going through that. Philia, are you going to be watching the fights?
I'm going to say Yasana would be.
Yasana would be at the very least, but Philia?
Sure, I'll watch. I have literally nothing else to do.
Oh, fight.
Yeah, you've already seen at least most of the combatants go on, And the first fight that's to go on there, the one that would be between the first match today of the losers bracket, the one that would be between, I gotta go back to the bracket myself now because I forgot who they were fighting, between the Kork and the Dwarves. You see the Dwarves show up on the one side, they're kind of waiting around, though the Kork are nowhere to be seen. Go ahead and roll a perception check.
No! No!
Skills.
I have Yasana roll one as well.
Perception. Oh yeah, look at that. 7.
Yeah. All right. You can kind of see up. It's not very clear up in the brackets. You can kind of see that Excel seems to be a little annoyed in a way, though he kind of shakes it off and stands up. The Excel being the Coliseum Master, and to kind of make an announcement. It appears there was a slight miscommunication. Apparently, it would seem that our battle-loving friends down there have decided to leave the town last night, and as such have pulled out of the arena. Regrettably, I was not informed until just now, so it looks as though this fight will have to wait. Dwarves, congratulations. You will go on to the next round.
Sounds like a forfeit to me.
You're very astute.
Something's up.
All right. Jade, Shiki, about where are you working right now?
I would say I would have rented out a little workshop, so actually I should probably take some more money out.
All right. You don't actually have gunpowder on you, do you?
No, I brought it.
You'd have to go out to buy it. All right, so I'm going to say while the two of you are out buying gunpowder, you're actually going to come across a rather interesting scene. Jade, you recognize the Inquisitor from before.
And I'll
Inquisitor Nerid.
point him out to Shiki.
And it's very hard to miss him at this point. Incredibly hard to miss him because he's also yelling at the top of his lungs. How did you lose her? We had one job. And then she just leaves? What do I pay you guys for?
Oh, he's so loud.
I think we should say hello.
No, not really.
Jade's gonna go say hello.
No.
Jade, as you're going up to say hello, you see one of the men there kind of just stammering. He's like a little intimidated, very much so, by the High Inquisitor. He says, "But sir, like, I swear I could have saw like the guys with the hats, the orc things with the hats. They just came in." And the Inquisitor at this point comes up again. What do you mean you thought you saw? Are you telling me that these fools are just sneaking around in the shadows? You know better than that these things can't hide.
Pardon me, sir. Did you lose someone?
And he'll just kind of glance over at Jade, and he has a furious expression on his face.
I did offer my services, but I suppose I could offer once again, since your men seem to be incompetent enough to lose your quarry.
He lasted the corking.
My friend and I have dealt with these Kork and Orc things quite a bit ourselves. We probably could track them for you.
How do you lose 4 green peas?
At this point, one of the other men would kind of speak up. It was technically 5 of them. And when he mentions this, the Inquisitor would just reach over and backhand that soldier, and that guy falls to the ground, out cold.
That's 5 minutes. Easier to spike.
Jay's gonna reach down and force feed him a good berry.
And he'll slowly get back up on his feet. There were 5 of them, and one of them was really big too. And
It's good to know the Inquisition. I'm doing a good job.
and at this point, Shiki, did you walk up close to them?
No, I'm standing back.
At this
I'm
point, you
accurate.
see the High Inquisitors holding a hand crossbow out, aimed directly at you.
You sure you want to?
say?
Are you sure you want to do this here?
You dare insult us?
No, I insult your men. Then you.
You have no idea what it is to deal with these fools. They've been stealing these captives, these prisoners from us for the past 2 years.
With all due respect, we've been dealing with these fools for quite a while.
Actually,
No, you haven't.
You haven't.
Or she's been dealing with these fools for quite a while.
Look, years kind of give it away, really.
We've been dealing with these fools for the past several years. We know how to deal with them. And to think that one of them, like... we need to figure out who actually told them. This place is supposed to be an assassin's guild. It must have been one of them.
I don't know. They're pretty smart when they're organized.
From what I've heard, it also has something to do with the hat you're wearing. If you have a nicer hat, they treat you a little better.
And he starts to snarl again. He looks like he's actually getting ready to slap you, Jade, though he stops after a moment. You can see he's actually glancing off the distance. Not quite at you, Shiki, but behind you.
It's fine. Actually, I want to know if he's noticed that my hand, the revolver is out and ready.
I'm gonna glance in that direction.
Phone. He's noticed that, but he's not exactly looking to... Swear to God, if this is you, Risu. Yes, it is. All right, so Risu's on her way. So he sees, he's noticed the revolver in your hand, though he's more important looking behind you, Shiki, as he lowers his hand back down and he snarls over his men. Gather your stuff. We're going hunting. You said he saw them going south.
I'm going to quickly glance back where he was looking.
And roll a perception.
Jade,
Shiki.
that's what Jade's perception is.
Yeah,
for.
both of you roll. Yeah, so Shiki, roll perception as well.
Perception.
All right, so the two of you looking back there, you can see that there is probably 7 men, like humanoids, probably men or women. It's hard to tell through the robes, which are kind of disguising their figures. All of them have large crossbows pulled out, aimed in his general direction. And behind that, Jade, with your slightly better perception, you can see that there's a number of shadows up on the rooftops as well, and a slight glint of metal, presumably from crossbows as well, all aimed in his direction.
If you don't mind, Mr. Inquisitor, I have offered my services. I prefer to keep our relationship professional and somewhat friendly.
Don't bother helping him.
Anytime you wish to show up and ask for our services, perhaps we could work out a fee.
With him.
And he doesn't respond as he gathers up his men and they head for the south gate.
Shiki waves him off and waves at the people who are obviously prepared to shoot him.
All right, so another news. Welcome, Risu. Thank you for waking up. I have tried to call you continuously for the past 2 hours.
43 times.
Huh?
43 times. That's how many times you called.
43.
Yes, I called her back to back for damn near a half hour, then a few other times as time went on.
That's commitment.
So, a brief summary. We won our fight, and you're now watching the other fights, and the Korakuen didn't show up for their losers bracket. So we're the winners of the winners bracket. We just have to wait for the losers bracket to finish their setup, so we got like a day or two of downtime.
Yeah, you've encountered, or rather, Jade has encountered an Inquisitor, High Inquisitor from the south somewhere, who is up in this region looking for someone. That was yesterday, and on today, he's learned that they actually managed to find that person, and then that person was somehow escaped. And from the sounds of things, it was with the aid of Korakuen, who you know as well, Yasana and Feline did not show up at their fight in the arena. And this man is not very happy because how the hell do these guys just, like, how are they sneaky? They're not sneaky. You would not expect them to be sneaky, but apparently it seems to be Korakuen, but they acted very sneaky.
And then he got laughed at.
And then he got laughed at, was about to attack Jade for just in anger, snarling at her.
Even though Jade did not laugh at him.
Huh?
Even though Jade did not laugh at him.
I would have dropped. I would have dropped.
He's not. He does not want the help, and basically, you implying that he needs help, as far as he's concerned, is insulting him. And he was ready to hit Jade before he noticed the proper enforcers of the city.
So we going to be back where we are, left off.
Jade's just going to wave goodbye to them as they walk off.
And a number of the men look like most of his men seem more scared than following him out of loyalty, which is somewhat understandable.
You know, Shiki, I bet we could pay some of them off.
Nah, they're no use. Anyone with a sane mind would not follow that idiot.
Yeah. Show me
I
how to
actually
tinker.
I say that loud enough as the person runs away.
Yeah. And as you kind of glance back as well to look at the figures that had drawn crossbows on the group, most of them have all dispersed. There's only 2 of them remaining, and they're speaking in hushed voices before the one goes to run off.
What? What do I keep hearing clapping?
It's Alto.
Right. Okay.
All right. So with that done, we can go to the second fight of the day. This would be between the avatars and the Team Tech. And this fight will go on, and you've already seen firsthand how Team Tech tends to fight. And one of the first things you notice is that when the fight begins, a large stone box, like 4 walls, emerge out of the ground to separate off the Clockwork Dancer as the rest of the sorcerers pick off one by one the remainder of the team. And with only the Dancer left, even though they have, during that fight, lost their air sorcerer, and they've fallen to the ground, the rest of the remaining 3 are able to fairly easily dispatch the Dancer by herself.
That's gonna be a problem.
So, in the second loser bracket, this team sorcerer will win, Tech loses. Alright. So, that's the only fight for there. So, there's 2 days off now, since you need to wait to see who will win between the dwarves and the avatars, and then who will win between the winner of that team and the Trick Archer team.
That night,
and that will go to the finals.
That night, can I just go buy some tinkering tools?
You may.
I don't know how much those are. I can look them up.
Yeah, I would say look them up. I'm going to say you're going to be able to find them pretty easily, especially since tinkering is becoming a much more prevalent field in the area.
That's 50 gold, so that's fun. I do have that money on me.
Yeah, they are not cheap, but they are more common than they once were. You're going to be able to find them easily enough.
Alright.
I think I'll be able to pick my gun up in time before the next match anyway.
Yeah, you'll definitely be able to pick up your gun before the final match.
Sweet.
And can I just, like, practice making, I don't know, crossbow bolts or something?
Let's see. Crossbow bolts won't really do a lot for you, I don't believe.
Can I try doing something interesting with the crossbow bolts, then?
I'm going to say you could probably try seeing about the idea of making explosive bolts.
Okay.
Gonna be expensive.
I would say for now, just try and, like, you're not going to make too many to begin with, as they are going to be somewhat expensive. More so than a bullet, of course.
Right. So at this point, you're assuming that I know how to make a crossbow bolt, or should I don't know. I'll just roll tinkering.
Yeah, just roll tinkering, because the crossbow bolts themselves are not that complicated. You, of course, do not have proficiency on this yet.
Nope.
With that, you're kind of getting some practice into making tinkering objects. What did you roll beforehand? A 19?
Mm-hmm.
Record that 19 and record that 12.
Okay.
By the end of what time of day would this be at this point?
This will probably be the next day early on.
Yeah, I'll say this will be the next day. You're going to probably be able to make... And how long are you spending on this?
I would probably go watch the fight and then spend the rest of the day working on it. So
Alright,
it might be broken up between 2 different parts.
Alright, so I'm going to say maybe 8 hours working on it.
Okay.
That sounds fair. Alright, so you're going to spend 8 hours working on this, and it takes you probably an hour or 2 and a few failed prototypes to actually figure out how to do this properly. Though by the end, you're able to successfully make about 6 explosive bolts.
Alright, and do I know what
these are going to do? These are just going to add on an extra D4 fire damage. It's not the most powerful explosive, but it does do something.
Alright, no AoE or anything?
No AoE or anything. You'd have to...
I'd have to beat a
I'm going to say as well, if you wanted to have like an AoE bolt like that, you would need to have something even more substantial than a heavy crossbow. More like a miniature ballista for something of that extent. That or an actual bow, since a crossbow bolt is not actually big. So that or like an actual bow to do something like that with, but that would have other issues.
Hey, I haven't decided to make the nade launcher yet. I mean, the mortar.
All right. So as you go in then, and you watch the second fight, the next fight of the day, the one that would be between the. Actually, I'm gonna have these fights both combined on the same day. Earlier in the morning, you have the dwarves fighting off against the Avatar team, and once more, kind of not too surprising, they work to begin by separating off the dwarves into two groups. One of which separated off by that stone wall into a group of just two. This being likely the gunner dwarf and the axe dwarf are just separated off as they pick off the remaining two, and this time taking minimal damage from the effect, are able to just once more attack the remaining of the group once they're separated off and defeat them. You're very clearly, as you're watching them, getting the vibe that this team is set to divide and conquer.
So guys, how are we going to deal with that wall?
And as you did notice, it looked like one of the dwarves did try to dash out of it, though he wasn't able to quite get out of the wall in time before it went up around him.
How long are we looking at this wall?
Can we?
How big is this wall usually that they conjure in?
Oh, it's a big wall.
Can we roll anything to see if we know what spell that is?
You may.
I would suggest Yasana would probably do that as well.
Arcana, yes. You could roll an Arcana for this. Let me bring up the Avatar team. What did you roll, by the way?
Risu is here, sorry.
Yeah.
I rolled an 8 for Jade and 16 for Yasana. I don't know if Risu's able to roll or not yet.
Alright.
I'm still loading character sheet, and actually I'm on that page.
Alright.
I loaded relatively fast.
So let me hit this real quick.
Do you want me to roll, or...?
You may, if you wish. Got how actually it spells. Alright, so you do recognize that is... Jade would definitely not recognize. You go ahead and roll for yourself. Yasana, you barely recognize the spell. It's a relatively high-level spell, and as you may have guessed from what you've seen, it is called Wall of Stone. You know that you could potentially try to fight your way through the stone itself, but you do also know that it is rather thick and durable for each inch of thickness this stone has. And it goes up, it's composed normally about 10 foot by 10 foot panels. Kind of shift that around as necessary.
Does she know any other information about the spell, like duration or whether
you know
it needs
that it's
concentration?
concentration, and that if concentration is not broken, it will last for 10 minutes. And that you can potentially dive your way out if it would close you in, though it's not. You'd have to be very dexterous to do so, and it's not always a guarantee. You may be trapped.
In that case, we need to. If that wall goes up, we need to hit him, make him try and lose his concentration as soon as.
Yeah.
The only other thing is we stick together, but then we're most likely going to get hit by large area of effect spells.
Yes.
Splitting up's probably a good idea.
Yeah.
True.
At least on the advance.
Yeah. Probably by the end of this day, Shiki, you'll be able to go off and pick up your gun, paying the remaining 200 gold.
Woohoo! Elephant gun.
Do we see any information on what elements they prefer or resist or anything like that?
You don't notice anything to that effect, though you do have a straight feeling. After watching them, it's very obvious that each one of them does tend to a certain element, being earth, air, wind, and fire.
Alright, so Jade has protection from energy, so she's probably going to cast that on somebody. Or do I have that? I think I do. I'll check that one out. She's probably going to cast that on somebody.
Oh my god.
So Fluffy's resistant to anything cold related, though fire's going to wreck her.
I'm not
You sound
weak to
resistant.
fire. I'm just resistant to cold.
Oh, I thought you were weaker to fire. Okay.
No.
Yasana's resistant to cold.
They weren't using cold or anything, were they?
For the
Water
most
one,
part,
maybe.
you didn't notice anything to that effect. You did notice, of course, lightning bolt and fireball.
Well, we also know that the moment you drop the Phoenix, she's probably going to get back up.
Yes, you did see in one of the fights that the Phoenix was dropped down, and she burst right back up in a blaze of fire that actually downed the person who attacked her.
Well, if you could kill her from afar, you'd be okay.
Yeah, but that's also killing her from afar. I reckon, if I do well, I could possibly do some damage.
They might wall off Shiki as well, because she does the most damage immediately.
Yeah.
But she has the most dex, so she might be able to get out of it.
Yeah.
But then there's a risk I'm going to get stuck on my own.
We know which one's using the wall of stone, correct?
True.
Yes, it's very obviously the dwarf.
So we could attempt to...
What if we take down the dwarf immediately?
Dwarf
Jade,
likely... Go ahead.
Jade, what other kind of beast can you summon?
I can summon quite a lot of fairly weak beasts.
If you can get them in close, they might be able to distract them and stop them from casting effectively.
I think the important question is, do any of them have burrow speeds?
I don't think anyone has... I mean, I probably could find one. I haven't really thought about that too much. I know I can create one that can fly.
That
Is
makes
it-
him a sitting duck.
That's what I was thinking.
Possibly.
Just out of context, the ones that I currently have prepared are ape, vulture, polar bear, saber-toothed tiger, brown bear, and direwolf.